Very, very happy Diwali to everybody. It's good to see a lot of familiar faces, a lot of old faces who we've missed for a few weeks, for a few months. And so good to see so many new faces. I welcome you all and I wish you all a very happy Diwali. This is supposed to be a very short talk, so I'm going to skip the introductory kirtan. I invite you all to come again tomorrow because this is going to be a continuation tomorrow and we'll do the kirtan again tomorrow. Thank you. So today's talk is going to be Glories of Govardhan Hill, which will continue into tomorrow, Glories of Govardhan Hill and of Kartik month. Let me know if you can see this. Just say this, Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasad Bhutale Srimati Shankar Sridhasadikari Namine Namo Prabhupada Nanda Prema Murti Kapatmane Gauravesha Vikasha Prabhu Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaurav Bhaksavinda. Thank you. I can sit straighter now. Thank you for that. So, Glories of Govardhan Hill, right? So let's talk about the appearance. A lot of you may know, a lot of you may not know, some of you may know half of it. So, in the spiritual world, long time ago, when I was working on this lecture, you can do philosophical or you can do a very storytelling aspect of it. And today being Diwali and this entire week, festivities and all that fun stuff happening, I wanted to keep it in a very storytelling format, especially because there's no Sunday school and we have all the kids and I wanted the kids to enjoy this. So please, I hope you enjoy this story about this wonderful devotee and this wonderful form of the Lord, and I'll explain that to you in a minute. So in the spiritual world, many years ago, or many yugas ago, Radharani once told Krishna that, Krishna, why don't you find us a really nice place for our pastimes? One that has beautiful green grass and trees and flowers and waterfalls and peacocks and all that. Just a request that she made. So when she made that request, Krishna started thinking about this. He started envisioning this kind of a place that Radharani wanted. And when he was envisioning that, there was a glow in his heart. And it started glowing and glowing and glowing. And then a seed fell from his heart. It fell onto the ground and it started growing. That seed started growing and growing and growing. And it became this huge mountain, right? And it kept growing. And let's see how much it grew. Just now, Ramchandra Prabhu was telling you what the original height of Govardhan Hill is. The one that you see in Mathura today, around Vrindavan. In Goloka Vrindavan, when Krishna was creating this, it was 800,000 miles wide. 800,000 miles wide. 8 billion miles long. I'm not making these numbers up because I went back to revalidate these numbers. 8 billion miles long, 4 billion miles tall, and peaks at about 180 million high. These are actual numbers in Goloka Vrindavan, and it kept growing. And at that point, Krishna saw the Gopas and the Gopis looking at him in awe, and they were getting tinier and tinier. So immediately he put his foot on the mountain, because it was a mountain then, no longer a hill, right? He put a foot on it and he stopped it from expanding further. So that is Govardhan for you in the spiritual world, right? Then from the spiritual world, when it was time for Krishna to make an appearance here in the material world, of course he wanted Radharani to come with him. So he's like, come with me. I have this project which I have to complete, and this project is off-site and it is in a place called Vrindavan in Mathura. Let's go. So she put her conditions down and she said, I will only come if you do this one. Which included, if you bring Vraja, Vrindavan down over there, if you bring Yamuna, and if you bring Govardhan Hill. If you have all these things over there, I will accompany you. Right? So Krishna said, listen, I already know that you were going to ask me these things. These things are already there. I have put them out on the on the material planet in the anticipation that you would come, that you would ask for this. I've already put it out there. So Yamuna and Govardhan and Raja, Vrindavan, were all there ready for Radharani to make her appearance when it was time for Krishna to come down. The Govardhan hill that we see today, the beautiful, beautiful replica that is made over here, today Govardhan hill stands at 25 meters high. Whatever that was, 16 miles, it's 25 meters high. It's shaped like a peacock. And I think when the Abhishek was going on, there was a beautiful video going on. There was an aerial view of Govardhan mountain. So it's, when you say it's like a peacock, what they mean is that this peacock is lying down and the long neck of the peacock is curved inside, because when the peacock lies down, it curves its long neck inside. That's how it lies down, under its stomach. And Radha Kunda and Shyam Kunda are supposed to be the eyes of the peacock. And the Mansi Sarovar is supposed to be its neck, and they have all the other different parts. So that is how Govardhan Hill is imagined to be. It's like a peacock lying down, right? And of course, it is 26 kilometers in circumference. I saw many hands raised when Ramchandra Prabhu asked how many of you have visited. If you have visited Giri Govardhan, most probably you have circumambulated it. And you must have done the 26 kilometers. Some of you may have done it in 3 hours, 8 hours, 16 hours. And some of you may have done only half of it and you made a pledge to go back again. And all that is fine, because that is how merciful Giri Govardhan is. So this is how beautiful it looks right now, right? So a little bit more. Now what do we do in Giri Govardhan, right? So then Krishna wanted it over there. Radharani wanted Giri Govardhan over there. To do what? So Krishna used to go with Balram and they would graze cows. They would have so many pastimes over there with all the other gopas, all these young kids who were taking the cows up to graze at Govardhan Hill. And of course there were so many pastimes that Radha and Krishna had, their leelas at Govardhan Hill. Right? So Govardhan Hill is a witness and also the place where a lot of these beautiful leelas happen. Then what happened one day, while Giri Govardhan was there, every year, Nanda Maharaj and all the other Gopas would still have a huge festival for Indra, Lord Indra, right? They would make tons and tons of food and they would offer it to Indra, and they would band Baja Bharat and firecrackers, and they would do all that fun stuff. So this is a beautiful picture. In fact, there are about 4 or 5 pages in the Srimad Bhagavatam where Krishna, as the small boy, he was 7 years old at that time, right? We know he's 7 years old because in all the Leelas where he's holding the mountain, he's holding it with his left tiny finger, he was 7 years old. At 7 years old, he goes to Nanda Maharaj and all the Gopas over there and he gives them an explanation, very logical, step-by-step explanation as to why they should not be doing these offerings to Lord Indra, right? That's his whole story. And in all that explanation, one thing that stood out is one of the lectures that Srila Prabhupada gave. So Krishna is talking about from Nishkam Karma perspective totally, right? He's not talking about anything else. He's talking about how you should do your duty, and you should do your duty without asking for any results, and you'll get whatever is due to you. So in one of the conversations, in one of the lectures, Srila Prabhupada is saying that if you do your duty, right, he's basically translating what Krishna was trying to say. He's saying, if you do your duty and you pay your taxes on time, if you pay your taxes on time and if you pay your electricity bill on time, you will get electricity. That doesn't mean that you have to go to the municipality and take, give that guy who's sitting over there and say, take mithai, take flowers and pay him under the table. You don't need to do any of that stuff. Because the minute you stop paying your taxes or you stop paying your electricity bill, whatever mithai or whatever under the table currency you've given that guy, your power is still going to be cut off at home, right? This is the logic that Srila Prabhupada was saying when he was trying to explain Krishna's explanation of why you should not be offering all this to Indra. Because Indra is that person who's sitting in the municipality doing his job. His job was to bring the rain clouds and give you rain. So it didn't serve any purpose by offering him all this prasadam and by offering him all this feast. That was Krishna's logic. And in that logic, then he managed to convince Nanda Maharaj and all the other Gopas, instead of giving all this offering to Indra, let's give it to Giri Govardhan, right? Because he told him about what does the Govardhan mountain do for us, right? This was the whole logic. And quite a bit of the 10th canto is taken up in this explanation. So then what happened was, they all got convinced. And anyways, everybody in Vrindavan used to just adore Krishna. They were almost willing to do anything that he would ask for. So they all agreed. And this was the offering that they made. They made such a lot of offering that the offering was as tall as the mountain. Look at our stuff over here. If we piled it all up right now, it would be taller than the mountain. And that is all thanks to each and every one of you who's contributed these foils over here. Right? So all the devotees of Vrindavan, they were so excited and they understood the logic, and whether they understood it or not, their love for Krishna was so profound that they decided to make the prasadam, and this was how tall the offering was. Right? So, and there is this beautiful lecture that Indralumya Swami gives when he talks about the layers of the prasadam. Firstly, as per Ayurvedic perspective, you need to have sweet and salty, astringent, bitter, pungent. All the 5 tastes had to be there. There were layers to this prasadam. The bottom was liquid. Then on top of that, you had salty. Then you had sour. It's laid out very, very beautifully in the Garga Samhita, presumably. Okay, every description was over there. Then, after they made this offering, they took it to Giri Govardhan mountain, right? They took it to the mountain, so they have to pray to the mountain. And guess what happens to the mountain? You see Krishna over here, there's a little Krishna over here, right? Krishna is behaving like a little Vaishya boy, a little cowherd boy. But when the food offering was made, Krishna also appeared as the Lord over there, sitting on top of Giri Govardhan mountain, and he ate every bit of the prasadam that was being offered over there. That is the importance of every grain that you have brought here today. You know how beautifully Padmoda Prabhu was doing the Abhishek with that Shila. That Shila, that little piece of rock, which, if we don't know better, we would assume it was a piece of rock. That is a piece of Giri Govardhan hill, which is he's put up over there. That transforms that entire mountain to Giri Govardhan, and that in turn transforms the whole thing into Lord Krishna right now. That is the potency of spirituality when you believe in it. And every grain of food that you have made over here is now going to be eaten by the Lord who's sitting on top of Giri Govardhan hill. Because today is Annakut. Today is the day that the Lord performed this pastime. And he is going into every single temple and every single home. Whoever believes in this, whoever is offering him prasadam for Annakut, he is eating it today happily. Right? So then the question comes, is Govardhan just a devotee of the Lord, or is Govardhan the Lord himself? Right? Because over here, you see the mountain, which you think, okay, he's the devotee of the Lord because now he's serving the Lord by giving grass to the cows and stuff like that. And on the other side, you see Krishna himself sitting on top of it. And this is the beauty of Govardhan Hill. Govardhan Hill is a Bhakta Swarupa and he's the Bhagwan Swarupa. He is being compared to, he's not being compared to, he is like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord Krishna himself, but he came in the form of a devotee. Giri Govardhan is exactly the same. He is Lord Krishna himself, who's come in the form of a devotee, who's come in the form of a mountain. Okay? So let there be no confusion. Let's not think that, for all of us who've been to Giri Govardhan, how careful have we been? We all walk barefoot around the mountain. We are all so careful that we don't climb the mountain. We don't throw stones away from the mountain and throw it, because we realize we may have thought, oh, this is a devotee of the Lord, but today we go back with the conclusion that this is not only a devotee of God, it is also the form of God himself, exactly like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, okay? He's a Bhakta Swarupa and he's a Bhagavad Swarupa, he's both. Because Srimati Radharani herself said that he's Haridas Varya, the best of all devotees. What do we learn now? What do we learn from Govardhan Hill? Right? There are two things that we learn, beautiful, beautiful lessons. One is service to the Lord by serving the devotees. This is a translation from the Srimad Bhagavatam verse 10:21-18. Of all the devotees, this Govardhan Hill is the best. Oh my friends, this hill supplies Krishna and Balrama, along with their calves, cows and cowherd friends, with all kinds of necessities. Water for drinking, very soft grass, caves, fruits, flowers and vegetables. In this way, the hill offers respects to the Lord. Being touched by the lotus feet of Krishna and Balrama, Govardhan Hill appears very jubilant. lesson number 1 is service to the Lord by serving the Lord's devotees, which each and every one of you have done today, inadvertently, unknowingly. The first thing is that you've come here and you're going to pay obeisances, right? So you've added to the association aspect of it. Then for all those of you who have made single grains of prasadam, you've served the Lord, right? You've served the devotees of the Lord today. And of course, not even to mention all the service that has gone in preparation ahead of time. Organizing stuff like this is not easy. You know how many calls they have? They have calls to decide who does what, right? And how, what's the program, how should we do the whole thing, who's bringing what and all that stuff, organizing it. And the beautiful deities, and of course, the Govardhan hill and all the decoration that goes behind it. In thinking that you're only doing this for the Lord, you don't realize that you've actually done it for the devotees. You know how pleasing it is for everyone to see this beautiful decoration and this layout of all the prasadam? So you're actually pleasing the devotees. Service number 1, right? Service number 2 is so beautiful. The other learning from Govardhan is the humility and the mood of the devotees. The first thing is that Srimati Radharani is very humble. She considers that Govardhan hill is the best servant of Lord Krishna. Right? Now, we all know that the most devoted devotee of Lord Krishna is Srimati Radharani, right? But Srimati Radharani herself is saying that Govardhan hill is the most devoted servant of the Lord, right? So here we have this whole humility aspect where Radharani is being so humble and saying Govardhan hill is the most devoted devotee. She's saying that. Now we've heard the word humility, right? Humility is such a big jargon in ISKCON. Humility and no pride and all that great stuff. Well, what happens with humility is that, again, the excerpt from one of Srila Prabhupada's lectures is that there were 2 devotees who were talking about, oh Prabhu, I am the most fallen devotee, and the other one is like, no, nobody can be as fallen as me. I am so bad, I am so fallen. So they just go back and forth, I am so fallen, I'm so this. And Prabhupada hears this and he's saying, excuse me, you are not the most anything in this world. So don't think I am most this and I'm most right there. Your humility is crushed. We all think we are all humble and we all say, oh, I shouldn't be proud. Oh, I'm so humble over this. The minute you think, oh, I am so humble, you've crushed yourself right in that. But here, in this pastime, Radharani doesn't even care if she's known as the most devoted servant or not. With an open heart, she just claims that Giri Govardhan is the most devoted servant of Lord Krishna. That's the first thing, right? And the second thing we learn is, again, humility. Humility by Giri Govardhan being what he is, a form of the Lord and a devotee of the Lord. Absolutely allows everyone to trample over him. People are walking, cows are grazing, people are plucking flowers, fruits, climbing trees. And he doesn't care about all that because he knows these are all devotees of the Lord. That is the humility of Giri Govardhan himself. Allowing everyone to trample over him, never a complaint. Everything is, because he knows that they are all Krishna's associates and they are all performing their pastimes. So it's really a lesson for us to learn in humility. When we think we are being so humble and we are being so generous and we are offering so much of our time and energy into services, when we hear stories about these kind of devotees, it throws everything into a different perspective and it says, what am I doing in this world? I'm just living here to pay my mortgage and to pay my car insurance, and then on a Sunday or a Thursday I make a little bit of prasadam and then I think I'm doing so much. It just throws everything into a perspective, allows us to give us a little balance and says, there's so much more that I can do, right? So these are the 2 lessons that we learn. And there is this beautiful, beautiful Govardhan that is created in Mayapur. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur created this. He took stones. Now there's a saying that when you go to Govardhan hill, you're not, I read a couple of things. One where it says it's okay for you to pick up the stones and the pebbles from the one where it says if you take a stone from there, you must leave as much gold over there. So if you take a rock that is this size, you must leave gold that is of this size. A lot of quotations, which is great. But of course now an exalted devotee like Bhakti Srila Siddhanta Saraswati, he picked up stones from there and he made a little Govardhan in Mayapur. And so devotees can go over there and do the parikrama. So this parikrama takes about 15 minutes And like we've already spoken, the parikrama in Vrindavan takes anywhere from 3 to 16 hours. This is a picture of that. Now, since this is a short class and we've learned such beautiful things about Govardhan, I thought we would all say a prayer and ask Giri Govardhan to give us His mercy in allowing us to be as humble and as giving as He is. Okay? Let's just wrap it up with this one. So we'll sing this together. Namaste Giri Rajaya.
Namaste Girirajaya.
Govardhana Namine.
Govardhana Namine.
Ashesha Klesha Nashaya.
Ashesha Klesha Nashaya.
Paramananda Daine.
Paramananda Daine.
Namaste Giri Rajaya.
Namaste Girirajaya.
Govardhana Namine.
Govardhana Namine.
Ashesha Klesha Nashaya.
Ashesha Klesha Nashaya.
Paramananda Daine.
Paramananda Daine.
Namaste Giri Rajaya.
Namaste Girirajaya.
Govardhana Namine.
Govardhana Namine.
Ashesha Klesha Nashaya.
Ashesha Klesha Nashaya.
Paramananda Daine.
Paramananda Daine.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the King of Mountains, whose name is Govardhana. He destroys unlimited miseries and bestows the highest bliss. So today, Diwali, this whole week has been Diwali and Annakuta. We've cleaned our homes. We've lit lamps everywhere, allowing Sri Ramachandra and Sita and Lakshmana who've come back to Ayodhya. They've come back into our lives. And today we celebrate the appearance of Govardhan Hill. We pray for the appearance of Lord Govardhan. And we also have to pray for not just for ourselves individually, but for all of us, so that we will be free from the miseries of material existence and bestow upon us the supreme bliss of Krishna consciousness. Diwali has never been about one person. Diwali is always about friends and families and acquaintances and everybody else. We go and we give mithai to everybody. We give lamps to everybody. So Giri Govardhan is the same way. He's just so giving. He's so humble and he's so giving. So this is what we can pray. This prayer allows us to pray not just for us, but for every one of us, everyone who's in this room, everyone who's not in this room, and everyone who's associated with us. Just by being associated with us, we have the opportunity to pass on a little bit of Krishna consciousness. And with that prayer, I hope all of you have a wonderful, wonderful Diwali. Hare Krishna.